All right, sweet.
Cool. Thank you, Jeremy, for being a part of my first interview for my new music project, which is called Music Survival Kit.
Awesome.
So, my vision and purpose is to dig into every single facet of what provides meaning and value to people when it comes to music. So, whether it is finding what makes people resonate and click with certain sounds and genres, or like what's the best way to eat healthy on tour, what's the best way to add value to our lives in terms of music. So that's my mission right now, and it's a work in progress, and I feel very grateful to have you be the first interview.
Happy to be here, man.
Thank you. All right. Well, let's start from the beginning. Like, how did This Will Destroy You come to be? Like, where does the name come from?
Well, the name is still kind of a mystery to all of us, to be honest. It was derived in a burger place in San Antonio, and I can't remember who it was. One of I believe it was me, Chris, and our original bass player Raymond were at the burger place, and someone said we should name a song "This Will Destroy You" just to be like assholes, and we thought it was hilarious. And then somebody mentioned that we should name the band "This Will Destroy You," and we wound up doing it. And Chris and I actually liked the name, and our original bass player and original drummer did not, and they asked us to change it after we had started getting a little bit of exposure, and we thought it was too late to change it, and we wanted to keep it. And after a month or two of arguing about it, it stayed "This Will Destroy You." But the original four members, we'd been playing together for a long time. Me and the original bass player since we were 12 years old. Me and Chris since we were 16, 17, and Andrew, our original drummer, joined the band that was our band before "This Will Destroy You." I think he joined when I was 18, so back in 2002 or so. But "This Will Destroy You" started in February of 2004.
Gotcha. How has the name of the band, changed over the years? Like, I'm sure you feel differently about the name from the beginning.
Sure. I mean, it's the butt of almost every joke that we hear or see online, that that people use to describe our music or a show of ours that they've seen, or promoters joking around about it. And it's kind of how I see it. I've never seen huge importance in the name of bands, because to me all band names are ridiculous in a sense. I can't think of a single band where I'm like, oh, that's a good band name. I don't know. I think it's really hard to associate words with the entire entity of a band. I think it's different with song titles and album titles, but band names, I don't really think they matter. The only thing that matters is that it sticks out and people remember it, really.
Yeah, I agree. I feel that, the name can mean so many different things, pertaining to the individual. I'm sure you've come across like so many, opinions and, expressions of how people see the name and how it pertains to their life.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Very cool. For someone who hasn't heard of this kind of music, how would you describe it to someone, like paint a picture to someone who's blind of your music?
That's always been pretty difficult to do. I typically tell people that aren't familiar with the genre or instrumental music really, that it's like cinematic rock. It's
Yeah.
kind of how I've described it to people, or you know, music that you would hear in film or TV, but sometimes it gets heavy. Is what I mostly tell
Yeah. I
people
agree.
who ask about that.
What are you hoping to convey to humanity with your music?
I mean, it's different every album.
Of course.
You know, I do want people to take from it what they want and make it their own experience. I do think with some albums, especially like Tunnel Blanket, where the message was, at least from our side, a little more obvious, a little more uh, focal. Um, I don't know. I really want people to interpret the songs the way that they want to. I don't think there's much importance on how we interpret the songs, because it is different for everyone. You know, I've heard people describe certain songs that I find upbeat to be very sad for them, and some songs that I find to be very depressing that people find very upbeat and happy. So, you know, it's different for every person, and that's kind of what I love about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's a beautiful thing. Many people are way too dismissive, in today's generation when they'll change a song every few seconds just because they they want to do a hit right now and
Yeah.
get in that mood. But
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's fascinating occurrence in life.
Yeah, every individual is different. I mean, every single person on this earth has their own story, has their own personality, and they all see things a different way than the person next to them. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things in life. And one of the best things about writing instrumental music is people get to experience it for themselves. And, you know, there's some things that I find obvious in the writing process where, you know, it's like, oh, you're going to write in minors, it's going to feel, you know, sadder, or, you know, if we keep this in majors or switch to majors after minors, we can try to make this feel more uplifting, or, you know, there's simplicities, I think, in writing to do things like that, but still, like I said, with that being done, people still interpreted it their ways, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
One question I'm curious to have you answer would be, I mean, would you be willing to share like a story in pertaining to one of your songs? Like, what's one song that really resonates with you that has like, I don't know, a funny or interesting story associated with it, or maybe the most profound song for you?
Well, one of them that affects me the most still till this day is Burial on the Presidio Banks. That was the first melody I wrote after a close friend of mine was murdered. And every single time we play that song live, it doesn't matter what my mood is, good or bad, or what the energy feeling is from the crowd, or anything. I always picture him when we play that song live. Yeah, and then Tunnel Blanket at the same time has a very, very deep connection with a lot of death that surrounded us during that time, and but that's a little different. It's a kind of different story. But with Burial, it is very, very specific. It was hard to want to do anything after my friend was killed, and that was one of the only ways I knew how to express myself. And even though that song transformed through 3 different versions, the heart of it, I think, still lies with him.
And like, what would you say that the whole emotion and tone really conveys for you and for your friend?
I don't know. We had a fucked up life together, we had a really fucked up life together. Um, it was back when I was much younger, and I was a heroin addict, and he was one of my heroin bros, one of my closest ones. Me, him, and another friend, we pretty much hung out every single day, and our entire lives revolved around heroin. But he was a beautiful person. He had a beautiful soul. Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to describe how I connect the melody to him as a person, but it just happened that way. It just came together that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable talking about your split with your former band members? So, like, what happened in the past year or so?
Yeah, to a certain extent. It just came down to a clash of personalities. I mean, when you're with somebody in a group of people as much as you are when you're in a band with someone, especially the touring schedules that we had, some years where we're touring, 7-8 months out of the year, you know every little thing there is to know about that person, the things that make them tick, the things that make them happy, and overall, in the end of it, I just feel that there is a separation of kind of a respect for each other, in a sense. Yeah. And there was a lot going on within the band, and a lot going on with some of the people that we had worked with, and it just kind of all came to a head, and I was disappointed that the guys who left couldn't man up about a few things and show some love, but people have their limits, and they made their choices, and in the end, I have to respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully things can work out smoothly between you guys in the future.
Sure. Yeah.
And, so apparently Brad Pitt is a fan of you guys. How did that happen?
Not too sure. We had did Moneyball, and did quite a bit with that. I think there's maybe 4 trailers or so, and like 4 or 5 uses throughout the film. It was quite a bit.
Yeah, it's in that whole movie pretty much.
Yeah.
It's the most recognizable part.
Yeah, no, which was really cool, which was awesome. It was really cool to experience that, and it definitely helped the band grow in the U.S. But I got a weird call one morning saying that it was from our manager that we had at the time, and he was like, some people called, they won't tell me what it's about, but apparently somebody important wants to speak with you. And it wasn't Brad Pitt, it was his people asking if we wanted to be involved with World War Z. We of course jumped on the opportunity, and we hope to work with Brad as much as he wants to work with us. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would hope some more films come out of that. That would be great collaboration.
Oh, of course, yeah. I have a lot of respect for his film company and a lot of the stuff that he's been doing. So some of the celebrity fans that we have, that's just a weird thing. That's not something I'm used to or get. It's just strange to me.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool, and it's only gonna build up from here. Like
Yeah, I hope so.
watch. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows? Like maybe a Lady Gaga and Lil Wayne will become fans of you guys.
Possibly.
Yeah.
We've had some very, very interesting people hit us up.
Yeah,
So
I mean, like,
you
or
never know.
maybe they'll take you on tour. Like, that would be pretty. Cool. I mean, pretty epic to see just to see the response from people. I mean, like, some people may not be into it, but I think a lot of people would be like, "Whoa, this is something I've never witnessed before.
Sure.
I like this."
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I feel like I'm seeing a movie, evolve right in front of my eyes, kind of impression.
Yeah, yeah.
So, can you talk to me about your collaboration with the new restaurant that came out called Vespertine?
Yeah, for sure. That was one of the funnest times I've had working on a project. It was also a pretty intense time. But Chris and I wrote, recorded the whole score in about 10 days or maybe less in his house, and then had our friend Andrew mix it. And it wound up being much easier than I thought it was going to be, because the chef, the man with all the ideas behind Vespertine, he was very specific about what he wanted, but also allowing us to have some freedom in how we did it. And it was just, I don't know, it all felt so smooth, and we went to go experience the restaurant for the first time a couple months ago, and it was an insane experience. It was exactly what it was going for. I mean, you feel like you're on another planet while you're there. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. But yeah, we'll be releasing that score sometime next year, and I can't wait for people to hear it. It's really, really fun writing with Chris like that. We haven't written alone in a long time, so it was fun.
Very cool. I mean, I guess first of its kind where a band has done a score for a restaurant.
As far as I know.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
that's definitely gonna catch on. I mean, like, many people are gonna learn about you just from that.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Let's see. So you've been working on your new album coming
Yeah.
up. It's coming up next year, supposedly, right?
Yes.
What can your fans expect?
Well, it's a new sound. Just like we've always wanted every album to sound different than the last, but still sound like this will destroy you at the same time. And from what we've written so far, and it's been the most that the band has ever written in one sitting, I can say that much. It's I would say probably the most upbeat thing that we've written yet, and it's pretty powerful and it's pretty strong, and I'm excited to see how it transforms in the studio when we go in to record. So
Stoked.
yeah,
Looking forward to it.
yeah, me too,
Yeah.
me too,
Yeah.
very much so.
So the band's from San Marcos, Texas, correct?
Well, yeah, I mean that. Yes and no. So the band's actually from San Antonio, Texas. When we started our MySpace page back in the day, two of the band members were living in San Marcos, and that's just what went up on our page. And whoever wrote our Wikipedia page put that in there, and then it just started being. And we played in San Marcos a lot because half of the band lived there, half of us in San Antonio. But yeah, it became where the band was from, and we're totally cool with that. But the truth is all four members we all met in San Antonio, Texas. We all lived in San Antonio, Texas when the band started, and we would love to rep our city. It's our hometown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now your new, I don't know if you can call it a new hometown, but you now live in LA.
Yes.
What triggered the move here? Like, how do you feel about it?
Um, I don't know. I mean, Texas. There's a lot of issues that Chris and I had with the state, politically and weather-wise as well, and just also drama that was inescapable, from living in San Antonio, San Marcos, Austin for as long as we did, and they're so close together. Um, and we wanted to be closer to, the heart of the entertainment industry, so we could, you know, hopefully do more scoring, and we have been since we've moved out here. So we hope that continues,
Beautiful, yeah.
and we love it. It's I mean, fuck,
Yeah.
it's fucking paradise out here.
Griffith
That's
Park comes
fucking
over
gorgeous.
here and, yeah,
It's
beautiful
fucking
skies.
gorgeous. Yeah, you don't get that in Austin. I mean, it's a different type of beauty, but these living in the hills out here, even though these are the ghetto hills, I still love them.
Yeah, it's
Um,
very serene.
It is serene. It's beautiful,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
I can come out on my porch out here and just, if I'm in a bad mood, I just look out and it's beautiful and it calms me down.
Yeah,
You don't have that in Austin.
yeah, totally. What inspires or drives you to create the types of sounds that you create?
It's mostly other composers, sometimes other bands that I like. Film is a huge inspiration for me. Probably my biggest inspiration is film, and some TV. Now that TV's kind of gotten to that level where it can be really good. Um, yeah, I mean that is my main motivator, and yeah, most of the tones that I've created in the past have come from different composers, or been inspired by different composers. Uh, yeah, yeah. I mean that's the biggest thing for me for sure.
Do you think there's some type of sound or dynamic or timbre that really resonates with you compared to other things? Even though it's just difficult to describe certain sounds.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah, I don't like high frequencies. It's one thing that can easily be eliminated. But I don't know. I like music that moves me. Always have liked music that moves me, and most of that music is instrumental. Most of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I owe so much of what I do to film composers and classical composers.
Beautiful. When you're on the road, what necessities do you bring with you in your music survival kit?
So Xanax would be the biggest one, and I love to bring my laptop with my USB controller to play my Super Nintendo emulator games to keep me kind of sane in the van.
Oh yeah.
And also to work on music as well while we're on the road. Helps to have that around. And I used to bring books on tour, but now I'm not able to read in a van anymore or while we're moving.
I just feel
So-
a little nauseous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, I feel I can read maybe 20 minutes or a half hour, and then I was like, I gotta stop.
yeah. I definitely grab some audiobooks and stuff though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helpful too.
Yeah.
What are some of your fondest games that you bring on the road?
I mean, I've probably replayed Final Fantasy 2 through 6 like 100 times on the road.
Yeah.
Zelda, the first 3 Zeldas at least 20 times, 30 times as well. I mean, those are my typical go-tos.
Classic. I know so much nostalgia, beautiful sounds,
Yeah.
and colors and
Yeah,
everything.
it's great.
Yeah.
But I recently finally gotten an iPad because it's become a really great instrument actually, that surprisingly. But I put Telltale games on there, which
Oh, yeah.
I
Monkey
love.
Island, like Indiana Jones games.
Oh yeah, and I recently did their Walking Dead series on my iPad, which was really cool to do on the road. is better than the show, by far. Yeah, the Telltale version. But yeah, so I've put some Telltale games on, and that's been fun too. Yeah.
Cool. Well, speaking of Walking Dead, apparently, was it the editor or writer of the show is a fan of you guys, and like they gave you some, you know, a little
Shout out.
Shout out.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that, on Talking Dead, Scott Gimple, one of the main dudes for the show, he mentioned that he was listening to one of the songs on Tunnel Blanket. He didn't give the title, over and over and over for a specific episode of the series. Yeah, that was pretty cool because we do watch the show.
Yeah, like maybe you'll get an opportunity to do a score for an episode or a season.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
let's see. Speaking of time on the road, like, is there any like wild or crazy event story that comes to mind?
And there's been some crazy things that have happened. We played this venue in Strasbourg, France, which is right on the border of France and Germany. And we were outside. I think we're all outside, like drinking, having a cigarette. I think it was our first time out in Europe as well. And there's a car parked in front of the venue, and some dude drove by with a Molotov cocktail and threw it at the car, but missed. The cocktail went under the car and exploded. And then he drove back around about 2 minutes later, broke the window, threw the Molotov cocktail in there, and the car exploded. And, everybody came out of the venue to watch it happen. That was pretty interesting. But one of my favorite things that happened on tour, we used to have this merch guy who would come out with us on every tour, but he had to quit a while back because he had a kid and had to start living a little more of a normal life. But we were drinking a shit ton of absinthe, and I don't remember where we were, but we were staying in a band apartment above the venue that we played, and we woke up after drinking God knows how much absinthe. We woke up to him in his underwear riding a bicycle around in a circle of a trash can that he had lit on fire indoors. It was indoors. And yeah, we freaked out. Luckily, we put the fire out. We didn't burn the building down. It was all concrete, luckily too. And if I remember right, I don't think the promoter found out about it, or if he did, it was after we left. So probably dodged a bullet there.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Was that guy on more than just absinthe, or does absinthe make you do weird shit like that?
I mean, absinthe gets you pretty drunk and you'll do some weird shit, but I mean, I don't know. There's always a chance when you're on the road that you, I don't know, wind up maybe taking some mushrooms or some shit if you're partying that hard. But nobody has any memory of the night before that happened, so yeah, not sure if he was drugged or not. Yeah.
Okay, so just imagine you get to go on tour anywhere in the world for 2 or 3 weeks. Where you go and what bands do you bring along with you?
I would go to I would choose South America just because we've only been to Chile once, and I want to see a lot more South America. And what bands, man? I mean, if we could tour with Slowdive, that would be great. That would be one of my dreams come true. That would be enough for me.
Yeah.
Us and Slowdive and in South America, yeah, that's a dream come true for sure.
Yeah, you guys played a show recently in Chile with Slowdive.
Yeah, it was a small one-day festival with them, and yeah, it was. I geeked out a little bit. I don't get starstruck really ever, but when I saw them, I just kind of got nervous, and I had a hard time articulating anything to them when I was talking with them, but they played an incredible show. But yeah, they've been my favorite band for 17, 18 years, maybe even longer, I don't know. So that was an awesome experience to get to play with them.
Yeah. Cool, yeah. Wonderful. Okay, so last question.
Yeah.
So, imagine members of This Will Destroy You are abducted by aliens.
Okay, sweet. I like it so far.
Forced to play a 3-song set for the Lord of the Lizard People on their home planet.
Sweet. Yes.
And what 3-song set do you play for them in order to wow them into setting you free?
That is a hard question. I would say Little Smoke would have to be in there.
Would that be number one? First one?
It's probably... It would either be the first or the last, but I'm gonna say... yeah, let's go out hard. Let's start hard. So yeah, Little Smoke first. Second... Might go with Dustism, actually. I don't know. Dustism or Newtopia, one of those two. And I would love to end it with God's Teeth, but gotta go with the classic. Gotta say Mighty Rio Grande.
Yeah, that's definitely a great kicker to end it with.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be the song that has made the most impact for us, so probably have to use that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, maybe the lizard people will start picking up baseball.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. Man, I just want to acknowledge you. Thank you for doing this.
Of course,
and
man.
I want to express my gratitude for your music and how much profound impact it's had in my life, and to motivating me to really enrich my life for the better.
Thanks, man.
And it's, I definitely consider you guys' music to be one of the cornerstones, one of the cornerstone motivations in really taking charge of my own life.
That's amazing, man. Yeah. It's a pleasure to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, much appreciated.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much.
Hell yeah.
Looking forward to a really profound, beautiful future with you guys.
Yeah, man. I'm stoked that you're going out on the road with us. It's gonna be fun.
Glad to have you on me. Glad to have you guys. Glad to have you guys.
Hey, don't count your chickens, man. It might happen.
I'm not drinking on tour. No, looking forward to it. It's going to be a beautiful experience, and I'm glad to share this with you guys.
Oh yeah, man. For sure. Sweet.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. That was good, man. Very well thought out questions.